Antonio starts right now.
A deadly meeting in a San Antonio parking lot. A man and woman shot and killed outside an HEB. What San Antonio police are saying this morning about a suspect who took off in a white SUV.
And we're live in Kerrville this morning after those deadly 4th of July floods. We'll get this, the area now under a flash flood warning once again. Justin Horn has exactly what we need to know this morning.
And a good Monday morning to everyone out there. Hopefully you guys had a good weekend, but it appears as if we are getting ready for some other bit of heavy rain making its way through parts of our area.
You guys see the radar back there is very active, and meteorologist Justin Horn, he's been on top of it this morning. Justin, what's going on?
Here we go again. More flooding going on across the hill country. So let's get right to the authority radar. I want to make sure everyone who's watching there is fully aware of what's underway. Now, let me be very clear. We do not have any issues here in San Antonio, and I don't expect much today. In fact, our rain chances are quite a bit lower than what they'll be seeing in the hill country. But this is becoming an increasingly concerning situation because this rain, of course, is falling over the rivershed of the South Fork of the Guadalupe River. Not only that, it is also falling over parts of the Frio River, where we are starting to get some rises in that river basin as well. In fact, let me go ahead and pull up these river gauges, and we'll get an idea of what's going on here. So this is the Frio River at Concan, and I'll expand this for you. And this is showing that we could see a rise up to about 13 feet, which would put it into moderate flood stage. And at moderate flood stage, that's where you start to see some stuff along the banks maybe take on some water. It's not major, but it is moderate. The other river gauge I'm watching is Guadalupe at Hunt, which we're all too familiar with, but it is also forecast to get up to moderate flood stage at 14 feet. So these are two river basins, two rivers that we are watching very, very closely this morning with this heavy rain. Okay, let's get back to radar, and you can see that we've got thunderstorms. It's pretty loud. Concan has been hit pretty hard with some heavy rain this morning. And you can see the river warnings that we continue to have here around parts of the hill country. So this is, again, what we're going to be watching here over the next few hours. And then we're going to get you another update coming up in just a few minutes. We'll get you the forecast too for San Antonio. That's all coming up in just a bit, guys.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Justin. We'll keep an eye on that situation. Well, we are also continuing to follow the heartbreaking aftermath of the hill country floods. Right now, the confirmed death toll stands at 129 people across the state, with the vast majority of those lives lost right here in Kerr County.
Officials there say 106 people have died, including 70 adults and 36 children. Kendall County has confirmed 8 deaths, and at least 4 other counties are also reporting fatalities. The search isn't over, though. At least 160 people still missing across Texas this morning.
Our Patty Santos is live in Kerr County this morning with us for an update on things out there. Good morning, Patty.
Hey there, good morning. So we know that the search for flood victims over the weekend had to be halted because of this rain. And with a flash flood warning this morning, we are already seeing that this could be a possibility of more slowdowns with that search. We're actually doing our live shot inside the truck because we're getting a lot of rain and also a lot of lightning. We are right across the street from the Ingram Volunteer Fire Department. So we know that they're awake. We're seeing the lights on and some of the folks out there. I know that they're keeping a close eye on the situation, but over the weekend, some of the Kerrville residents got a warning on their phones to move to higher ground. Search and recovery efforts were finally able to resume late yesterday on Sunday, but over the weekend, volunteers were checking in at a stadium in Kerrville to make sure that they were registered with the city and then deployed to specific areas to assist with those search operations. Now, with rain still around for a while, the potential for flash flood is high. And Governor Greg Abbott also called on Texas to monitor any updates and to also listen for any further information. So everyone needs to be on the listen today. Later today, the Kerr County Commissioner's Court meeting is set for 9 a.m. There are several items that we are keeping an an eye on that are related to this flood. Among those, any updates with the status of the recovery efforts, overtime pay for the workers who are helping along the Guadalupe River, and to allow certain locations to serve as central places to better assist people suffering from flood disaster. Again, this is a story that we're going to continue to cover not only today, but throughout the following weeks and months. That is what we have this morning. We'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Patty. Well, the final missing Camp Mystic counselor, Catherine Ferruzzo, has been found. Her family said in a statement that her body was found on Friday, but in her memory, they're establishing the Catherine Ferruzzo Legacy Foundation to honor her.
And we want to remind you that there is a crisis support line for those impacted by the Hill Country floods. The Texas Flooding Emotional Support Line is available 24/7 and provides professional counseling for free. The phone number is 833, you see it on your screen, 812-2480, and all calls are confidential.
Also, to help with that debris cleanup after the floods, Kirk County has set up some guidelines for you. First, if you have that large debris piles on your property that can't be cleared out by hand, you'll need to get assessment before heavy machinery can be coming in. To get the process started, all you got to do is call 211. Officials are also asking residents to keep an eye out on their county websites for debris pickup schedules as they roll out. In the meantime, you can sort your debris, but if you can, make sure to keep it away from the sidewalks, fire hydrants, and utility poles so that crews can get through it safely. Here's how people can apply for that FEMA aid. The easiest way is to apply online at disasterassistance.gov. There's also a FEMA app that can download on your phone. You can also call the FEMA helpline, and that number is 1-800-621-3362. And you call that number from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m.
And you may be seeing more of these around town. They are green ribbons that have been hung around poles, over windows, and also on lapels as well. They're in honor of the victims of the Hill Country flooding from Camp Mystic and across that area, those who died and those who are still missing. People from all over the state are putting them on their poles right there to show up solidarity with those that we have lost and their families who are still grieving.
And your morning headlines. We got a little further north. A mandatory evacuation order has been issued for specific areas in San Saba County due to rising floodwaters. The San Saba River was forecasted to crest higher than 31 feet just a few hours ago. San Saba County is under disaster declarations from local, state, and federal authorities as flash flooding impacts central Texas. Governor Greg Abbott says that in nearby La Paz, the Texas Task Force 1 crew has already rescued dozens of Texans from flooding there.
Some of our other top stories this Monday morning. San Antonio police say a man and a woman are dead after a double shooting late last night at an H-E-B parking lot on South New Braunfels near I-37. Police say the victims were a man in his 30s and a woman in her 40s, and they were meeting someone when some type of altercation broke out at that H-E-B. It quickly turned deadly. Both were shot and killed. The suspect took off in a white SUV. SAPD detectives are investigating this situation.
A man is recovering after a drive-by shooting near a downtown bar. Police were called to the scene near Live Oak Street and I-37 yesterday, where they found 32-year-old man with a gunshot wound to the stomach. Investigators say that a car pulled up, opened fire in the car parking lot, and then drove off. Well, the victim was rushed to the hospital and is expected to survive. Right now, police are still working to figure out who pulled the trigger and why.
All right, let's give you a quick update here on the traffic situation across our area. No major accidents to let you know about at this time. Pretty quiet across the city of San Antonio for the most part. 1604 Emerald Forest, that's on the north side of town. Traffic moving along there. And 1604 Gold Canyon, same situation. Let's get you out to one smaller incident that was on the southeast side of town. And you see a stalled vehicle further up the road here. This is going to be 37 North right here at 410. So obviously not much traffic out there at this moment, but hopefully maybe we could get a KSAT Hero truck out there at some point to help that driver out. That car's been there for a little while. Still ongoing construction situation here. This is going to be 35 headed northbound towards downtown. And over the weekend, there was some pretty good delays for all of our drivers in this one particular stretch from Laredo Street all the way up to Martin Street for, again, all of our folks on 35 North that are heading towards the downtown area. We'll keep an eye on this situation as we make our way through. Okay, Jess?
All right, let's go outside with Live Cam, and we've got mostly cloudy skies here in San Antonio, but increasing concerns for flooding now in the Hill Country. This does include the Guadalupe River and the Frio River. We're going to have an update for you right after this break.
A Coast Guard hero on his very first mission. How Petty Officer Scott Ruskin helped save lives in the flooding chaos, and how Congress is now taking action to honor his bravery. That story next.
Also coming up, Tesla's new AI hitting the road, a Nintendo Switch 2 warning for gamers, and how speedrunners turn play into pay, raising millions for charity.
Welcome back. It is 5:13. Okay, so this Coast Guard rescue swimmer you see right here is the man who is being hailed a hero this morning.
Absolutely, Jeff. He's being credited with saving 169 people. 169, yes, during the Hill Country floods. Petty Officer Scott Ruskin, who was on his first mission, helped guide all of those victims to safety and led triage efforts in chaotic conditions. Ruskin credits the brave kids who stayed calm throughout the entire ordeal and his Coast Guard team for their support.
Ruskin's great acts have moved Texas. Congressman Tony Gonzalez set to introduce legislation to the U.S. House of Representatives to honor him. In a statement, Gonzalez says, quote, "Many lives were saved because of Mr. Ruskin's bravery and selfless commitment to his mission. And I thank my colleagues for working with me to ensure that we give the American hero the recognition he has earned," end quote. Well, search and rescue operations in the Hill Country are back underway after a long pause due to the rain and flood watch. Zaria Oates was in Hunt and Ingram, giving us a look at the damage more than a week after the deadly floods.
We're in Hunt, Texas, just off of State Highway 39. And to give you a better picture of just how high up the Guadalupe River came on July 4th, I'm 5'6", and this is where that water level is on this structure. And we're not even at the lowest point of the river. This is up on a hill. The river actually at its stagnant level is over here, and this is just about a mile from Camp Mystic. But earlier today, we actually spoke with a couple who didn't want to be on camera, but they explained to us what they heard and saw on July 4th.
I heard all this screaming, several different people screaming. The water was halfway up all these trees.
Coming out and seeing something like that, seeing the water that high, seeing people in trees, what was that like?
Well, it was very scary. You know, I wanted to try and help them, but the water was there and it was going like crazy. Once it got a little lighter, got them to jump out of the trees about 15 feet down into the tubes and stuff, and we rescued them, brought them all up here, but they were up in the trees for over an hour.
Were they kids up there?
Yes, one 4-year-old.
Hundreds of campers along the Guadalupe River and many other travelers were rescued from trees, floating mattresses, and homes submerged in water. But at least 106 people have died in Kerr County, 36 of them children, and at least 160 people are still missing in the county. Search and rescue missions have been ongoing for more than a week, only stopping for flood watches briefly on Sunday to prevent any more deaths in the Hill Country.
It doesn't flood. This hadn't happened in recorded history in Kerrville. I mean, we've had little floods, they've come up right where y'all were standing and stuff like that. But this was a unique thing.
A unique flood that everyone hopes never happens again. And late Sunday afternoon, helicopters returned to the sky with hopes of bringing closure to these families. In Hunt, Texas, I'm Zaria Oates.
And here at KSAT, we're going to be with KPRC, a parent company, Graham Media Group, and Gray Media. We all united to launch this urgent donation drive called Together for Texas. That QR code on your screen, if you scan it right now, it's going to take you directly to that donation page. But get this. Thanks to your generosity, after watching all of our coverage, the campaign has already raised more than $760,000. All of those funds raised will go directly to the community and the on-the-ground efforts in flood-affected areas through the Salvation Army. $760,000, that is a lot, and I can tell it's still growing, RJ.
Absolutely, Jeff, and we keep on hearing stories of individuals like that helped those campers out and did anything that they could to just help some folks survive exactly what happened there on the morning of July 4th. It's been an ongoing situation. And of course, we're staying on top of everything out there. Keeping you updated here on the roads. 37 at Houston Street on the east side of town. No major issues out here for our folks. Southeast side of town, 37 at Fair Avenue. Traffic is moving along both directions there. But again, we do have this stalled vehicle a little bit further south of that, what we just saw there at Fair Avenue. This is going to be 37 north past the 410 interchange. And you see that it is off to the side of the road there, so not causing too many delays. But they've had their hazard lights on, and they have the hood of that vehicle also is up right now. So hopefully we can get some help out there for that driver if they happen to still be in that vehicle. We'll see if TxDOT, if the Hero trucks make it out there. Construction issues, not really too much of a cause for concern right now, especially at 35-1604. It looks like things have cleared out there. I did see a little bit of construction equipment over by 1604 and John Peace on the northwest side of town. But again, nothing serious or nothing that's going to be holding us up if you're about to step outside anytime soon. All right, let's go to Justin because we do have a developing situation, unfortunately, Justin, for our folks in the Hill Country once again.
Yeah, I wish I wasn't talking about this again, but here we are. We've got more flood warnings now going out across the Hill Country, and the concern is starting to rise again for these rivers, namely the Frio River, but also the Guadalupe River, because this rain you see over here, this heavy rain, which thankfully it's decreasing in intensity a little bit, but this does feed into the Guadalupe River. Let's first start down near Concan, and this is a place where we've gotten just a ton of heavy rain this morning. Where you start to see those purple colors, that is torrential rain, and we know that the Frio River runs right through Concan. So let me pause this, and you can see where the rain is now. That flash flood warning is going to go through 6 a.m. This morning. And we could look at rainfall rates, and I think that would be an important factor. Just how heavy is this rain coming down? And when you start to get into 6 and 7 inches per hour, which is where you likely see some of that purple color there, that is going to add up very quickly. So we're talking about 4, 5, maybe 6 inches per hour in some of these areas. And that has been pretty consistent over the last hour or two. So we've seen the Frio River rise, and it likely will continue to do so. Now, let me point out that this is all west of San Antonio. So for those of you watching in San Antonio this morning, we do not have anything on the radar. The morning commute will be dry. It's all west of us, and I think that's where a lot of the action will be today. There is a flood watch that is going to go through 9 p.m. tonight. I'm going to clear the warnings off for you real quick. We'll put some of the lightning strikes on, and you can see where we have the clusters of lightning. That's where we have some of the heavier rain this morning. We've also got some activity out near Eagle Pass. That's a place that got heavy rain overnight, and seeing some new development up around the Kerrville area. So let's look at Kerrville very quickly. And this is the Guadalupe River right here. And then, of course, this is Highway 39, a place that was hit very hard on July 4th. We know that all too well. But now heavy rain falling again on these same areas. And I think we should look at the 24-hour rainfall totals as well. And you can see where we've had some of the heaviest rain, and it falls right over the Frio River and right over the Guadalupe River as well. So that's why there is a bit of a concern this morning. If you look at the radar estimates, we're talking 4 or 5 inches of rain here, but this is continuing to add up around southern and southwestern portions of Kerr County, more in the order of 2 to 4 inches, but that will all feed into the river. So with that in mind, let's look at the river levels, and I'm going to pull up the Frio River here. And you can see what's about to happen here. So we've got a rise. The forecast is for it to reach moderate flood stage, and that would be around 11 a.m. later this morning. So this river is forecast to rise, and this is the Frio River at Concan. The Guadalupe River also expected to go to moderate levels there around Ingram and Hunt. Not what we want to see. This will likely suspend recovery operations there. This flash flood watch goes until 9 p.m. That should say 9 p.m. tonight. Basically covers the Hill Country, does not include San Antonio, which makes perfect sense. Let's look at the futurecast real quick. And as we kind of jump through the next few hours, expect this little spin out here to continue to rotate some heavy rain up through the Kerrville, Hill Country area. And if it sticks around for a while, that could be even more concerning. By midday, it does show a few of those storms nearing San Antonio. We'll see if that indeed plays out. We could see some storms around here. We're going to put rain chances at about 30%. So let's look at the forecast for today here in San Antonio. 30% chance of rain most of the day. If you're west of San Antonio, your rain chances are much higher. And again, flooding is a concern. 7-day forecast. We're expecting 40% chance of rain. Again, higher rain chances west. 20% chance coming up tomorrow. Drier conditions Wednesday and Thursday. And then a few more rain chances showing up Friday and Saturday, depending on what happens in the tropics. And we'll talk more about that coming up in just a bit. We'll be right back.
In today's Tech Bites, Grok rolling out in Teslas. The chatbot from Elon Musk's artificial intelligence company now comes pre-installed in new Teslas. Older models can get access through an update. For now, you can ask Grok questions, but it can't control the vehicle's operations. Next, a warning for Switch 2 users. According to a Reddit post, an owner says online features were disabled after he used secondhand games bought on Facebook Marketplace. The user says the ban was lifted after he provided Nintendo support with a proof of purchase. And finally, a huge haul by Summer Games Done Quick, raising $2.4 million for Doctors Without Borders. It was a marathon week-long event in Minneapolis featuring speed runs of classic games. There were more than 37,000 individual donations. Sounds like they raised a lot of Nintendo. Those are your Tech Bites. Have a great day.
Okay.
Wow.
I did learn what a speedrunner was. I didn't know what that was, but producer Hardy cleared that out.
I got to get with them because I still don't know what it is.
Really, you just play the games really fast. That's the whole point of it.
Okay.
Pass the levels fast, yeah. All right, 526 right now, 78 degrees outside.
Okay, as our flood coverage continues, flood rescue crews get ready for a second week of helping flood victims. There are ways for you to help. Next, we got some of the best ways that you can lend a hand and some businesses that are making it easy to contribute. And good morning. Yeah, welcome back. I'm so sorry. Welcome back. It is our Monday morning. It's 5:30, and again, we are having an active radar behind us.
Yes, unfortunate news for all of our folks in the Hill Country as they make their way out today. And unfortunately, Justin, we've kind of seen this play out over the past few days.
We have. It's pretty incredible to see this now happening again. We have a little spin in the atmosphere, and overnight we had some heavy rain out west, and now this is starting to really fill in areas that we do not need it to fill in. We're talking Uvalde County up to Bandera and now into Kirk County. And these are areas that we know have been pretty hard hit with heavy rain. And so here we go again. I will tell you, the rain over Kirk County has let up some, but this is still going to result in a rise in the Guadalupe River, we think potentially to moderate flood stage. So that's something we're watching. The other part of this is a very heavy rain around Concan. The Frio River also rising and likely reaching moderate flood stage, and the heavy rain has not let up here over Concan. So we have seen likely on the order of, I would say 3 to 4, maybe 5 inches of rain right around the Concan area where you start to see these orange colors. That is not a good sign. 4, again, maybe 5 inches, and we've had some ground truth to that. So that's all going to funnel into the Frio River, which of course flows right through here towards Canepa, and I think that we could see this rise by maybe 10, 11 o'clock this morning. And I'm going to go back to the river graph for you real quick. We'll get it pulled up. And this is the Frio River at Concan. Now, it does show a little bit of a decrease. I'm not sure if that's true data or not, but the forecast is for it to come up to moderate flood stage at about 13 feet. And again, that would be a little bit later this morning. That is definitely something we're going to keep close watch on. And of course, the Guadalupe up in Kirk County as well. Our forecast here in San Antonio, if you're heading out the door right now, there is no rain. We don't expect much. Much of this is going to stay west of us this morning, but we certainly could see some pop-up storms this afternoon. So we'll put in a 30% chance rain. High temperatures will be around 92 this afternoon. We'll continue to update you with the Authority radar on this heavy rain in the Hill Country coming up in just a bit, guys.
All right. Thank you so much, Justin. It is 5:32 right now. We're continuing to follow the heartbreaking aftermath of those Hill Country floods.
That's right. Right now, the confirmed death toll standing at 129 people across the state, with the vast majority of those lives lost in Kirk County. Patty Santos is live for us this morning in Ingram, where they are still seeing some of that heavy rain this morning. Good morning, Patty.
Hey there, good morning. We know that the rain slowed down the search and recovery over the weekend. We're going to have to see here in the next few hours how much this is slowed down. Now, we are continuing to hear from our community, though. Zaria Oates talked to a man who helped rescue some folks that were trapped in a tree, including a 4-year-old. He says he's never seen this type of flooding, but they are so impressed at how everyone has helped each other out. And, you know, driving in here, we were able to see how many thank yous and how much support there is throughout the community. The signs that are up right now thanking the first responders, the encouragement to donate to the fund that will help some of these victims. As the sun comes up later today, we're going to get to see how much this rain is delaying. We're right outside the Ingram Volunteer Fire Department. We're going to see when they head out. I know some of them are already starting to pull in right now to get ready for the day, but we're going to see how much this rain is delaying the search and recovery throughout the day. We're going to send it back to you.
Thank you, Patty. Yesterday, those heavy rains and emergency alerts for stormy weather kept first responders from going out across the hill country all morning long.
Now they're getting back to recovery efforts, but how is that weather going to affect the rest of their work?
Our very own Devin Carp right now live in the studio. After spending the weekend in Kerrville and Ingram, you're hearing from crews and all that. Like, it was a busy weekend.
Yeah, really busy weekend. And especially when we get rain like we saw yesterday, even this morning, it's going to be a big deal for a lot of the people there. When we were standing by to go live yesterday for some of our coverage, we were right next to some firefighters from San Antonio when we all started to get these alerts blasting on our phones, telling us there was a flash flood warning to get everything away from the Guadalupe River. Even with that weather right now, it's still going to be an issue for the crews working out there. Yesterday, when we drove through Ingram and Kerrville, we saw blocked roads, high waters, hearing thunder and lightning strikes, watching the river rise close up to the roads and the banks, lapping right at the top. Thankfully, we didn't see any major damage in Kerrville or Ingram as a result of that. Now, whenever rain like this happens, first responders and crews on the scene first need to clear everything out of the way of their scenes. Heavy equipment, trucks, workstations, and they started to set some of that up yesterday again before that more rain is happening right now. The crews on the ground say it does make their work in the field much harder while also giving some minor benefits.
So the rain is definitely going to make the efforts a bit harder to execute, for a couple reasons. One, we'll have to recalibrate, and obviously we're going to have more damage.
And then just the fact that it's going to possibly uncover more debris that we're going to have to go through again, which is a good thing because it could possibly help us.
Crews in the area say they're still working every day on their search and rescue efforts while cleaning up debris, mucking and gutting flooded houses, and helping the neighbors around them. Though the rain and the mud that we're seeing now is definitely going to slow things up for restarting later on today. I know that's been a big issue. Typically, whenever we see those rain, all those first responders have to pour away from their sites with their machinery, wait for the rain to let up, go away from some of the mud, and then start to come back there. But thankfully, those first responders were not alone this weekend. More than 450 volunteers from across the state drove in to help at the Volunteer Reception Center for its first day open. We're going to be sharing some of those stories from across Texas coming up later on this morning here on GMSA at 6 o'clock. RJ and Jaffney.
Devin. So the Kerrville community is making it easy for you to help through a website that they've launched. It's called kerrtogether.com. The website will provide everything from volunteer registration to debris removal requests. And if you want to help or are in need of it, you can visit kerrtogether.com.
And the outpouring of support for the Hill Country coming across not only our community, the rest of the state, and from the sports world as well. Check this out. The 3 NBA franchises that are in Texas are teaming up for the cause. Our San Antonio Spurs, the Dallas Mavericks, and the Houston Rockets are selling these Texas Strong t-shirts to show their support for those impacted by the disasters along Central Texas and here in our area. 100% of those proceeds will go to the Texas Sports for Healing Fund, which provides aid to individuals and families affected by the flooding. During the NBA Summer League warm-ups, players from all 3 teams are going to be wearing these shirts, and you can buy these shirts right now online at the Spurs fan shop.
Here at KSAT, we, along with KPRC, our parent company, Graham Media Group, and Gray Media, have united to launch that urgent donation drive called Together for Texas. We've got that QR code right there available for you to scan. It's going to take you directly to the donation page. And so far, thanks to your generosity, campaign has already raised more than $760,000. All the funds raised will go directly to the community and the on-the-go ground efforts in flood-affected areas through the Salvation Army. How are we looking on the roadways, RJ?
All right, Jeff. Actually, traffic looking pretty good if you're about to step outside. Right now, we expecting some folks to hit the roads here in just a little bit as we get our work week started. Take a look here at 281 Borgfield, north side of town. Traffic is looking pretty good out there. 281 Summer Church Road, no major issues for all of our drivers that are going towards the Stone Oak area and headed out to 1604 and 281. Good morning to all of our folks there. Still have that stalled vehicle, 37 northbound at 410. Starting to see a little bit more traffic make its way through here as we basically kind of start our Monday morning commute for all of our drivers over here along 181, 410, and 37. Again, the far southeast side of town. Good morning to all of our folks out there as well. Everything else across the city is looking pretty good for the most part. Still had a little bit of that overnight construction taking place at 1604 John Peace over by the UTSA main campus, but 35 1604 traffic looking good. And over the weekend, they wrapped up this work here at 281 and 1604 pretty fast. I mean, it got wrapped up by Saturday early afternoon, so no major issues there right now. Justin?
San Antonio, and we are watching storms in the Hill Country still. Flash flood warnings in effect for several more hours. We're going to show you the authority radar coming up.
All right, welcome back to GMSA. Up next, how businesses all across the state are helping this week to help victims and first responders affected by the Hill Country floods.
545, welcome back to Good Morning San Antonio. Well, when it comes to helping feed first responders and community members impacted by the floods, the Denny's Mobile Relief Diner is coming through in a big way with its 53-foot mobile kitchen.
Yeah, starting now through Wednesday, the MRD will be stationed in Kerrville serving a hot breakfast. Denny says that all are encouraged to stop by and enjoy a warm meal and a moment of relief. There will also be parking at 651 Loop 3 or 534 from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. daily.
Okay, good to know there. While Texas community is coming together to lift up some of the most vulnerable in the wake of these devastating floods, and that includes the restaurant Twin Peaks.
Today and tomorrow, the restaurant will donate a portion of their proceeds to the Kerr County Flood Relief Fund, supporting displaced families, first responders, and long-term recovery efforts at locations that you see across Texas. And tomorrow, Papa John's will be donating 100% of profits from every order placed in the region to support flood relief efforts.
Several celebrities also using their talents to help out here and raise money for victims. On Friday, Tejano star Shelly Lara is holding a benefit concert at Woodlawn Theater. The concert is called One Stage, One Heart and will go on from 7 in the evening to 1 a.m. in the morning. Organizers are suggesting a $50 donation per person.
And on August 28th, Kerrville resident Robert Earl Keene will also hold a benefit concert in New Braunfels. For more details, of course, we got all this information on our website at KSAT.com. Talk about lending a helping hand and doing everything to get the community involved in rebuilding our neighbors. RJ.
Absolutely. And that includes also, of course, George Strait's kind of having a little bit more of a private benefit in Bernie. That one is taking place at the end of the month here as well. But Robert Earl Keene, one of our great Texas country music stars. So again, all hands on deck right now to help those folks out. And I'm sure that they are grateful of that after everything that they've gone through in the Hill Country. 281 Encino Rio traffic looking pretty good for our drivers on the north side of town. We saw earlier a shot there at Summit Church. This is Stone Oak Parkway, and you see no major issues there. And as we mentioned a little while ago, they cleared out that construction pretty soon or pretty early over at 1604 and 281. A solid vehicle right here, 37 northbound at 410. That's going to be our biggest issue, but we are starting to see a little bit of delays over the downtown area, and we do have that ongoing construction taking place here. 35 north north right here at Laredo Street all the way up to Martin Street. So I was stuck in this a little bit over the weekend, and I will say firsthand it is pretty good delays out there for our drivers in the downtown area, but everything else is looking pretty good. All right, let's go to Justin because we've got some developments out over in Real and Kerr counties, huh, Justin?
Yeah, what a month, guys. What a month. We got more heavy rain falling this morning. What I'll point out here on Authority Radar, we got a little bit of a spin right here. And this is the kind of situation we've dealt with in the past. Now, I would say the moisture levels aren't quite what they were on July 4th, but this is a situation where we got to be really, really careful concerning what has already taken shape here. So this little spin in the atmosphere is giving good lift to some storms this morning. And where I've noticed the heaviest storms have been around Concan and up towards Lakey, and that's where I would be concerned for some flooding on our streets and low water crossings, of course. That goes without saying, but also, unfortunately, some of the rivers, the Frio River, Guadalupe River included, because we've seen some heavy rain up here on the South Fork of the Guadalupe River as well. A place that does not need any more rain, but yet they are getting it. Let me show you some of the warnings that we have right now. I'm going to pause the radar. So this is a flood warning, a flash flood warning that's going to go until 8:30 this morning. And that basically covers a swath from southwestern Kerr County all the way down into Uvalde County. We've got more warnings coming out for parts of Uvalde County that includes Sabinal. That's going to go until 8:45, and then north into parts of Bandera County. And then we have some river flood warnings along the Frio. They go further south. That's going to go through this morning. And then we've also got this river flood warning that goes until 3:30 Tuesday morning because the Guadalupe River again could rise back into moderate stage, believe it or not. Now nowhere near where it was on July 4th, but yet we saw rises yesterday, and this may happen all again today, hampering efforts for recovery there. So now that we talked about the warnings, let's look at some of the rainfall estimates, and we'll go 24-hour rainfall estimates here. And look at that bullseye there around Concan. And rain is still coming down. And if you're familiar with Concan, the Frio River runs right through there. And we've got estimates now of 5 to maybe 5.5 inches of rain. Not what you want to see. And then as you get into Kerr County, some estimates of maybe 3 to 4 inches. That is all funneling into the Guadalupe. This water that you see here is funneling down into the Frio. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and look at the river gauges. And we'll take a look at what the Frio River has to offer. Not quite there yet. RJ, do you mind pulling that up for me real quick? Headlines. Let's look at those real quick while we're doing that. Hill Country could see 1 to 2 inches, maybe up to 5 inches with the flood watch. And that's going to continue through 9 p.m. tonight, by the way. So the timing through tonight, main concerns will be rivers, creeks, and low water crossings. And then the Kerr County, of course, we're going to watch volunteers, first responders. We're going to ask them to stay alert with this situation, of course, what they've got going on there. All right, now let's look at the Frio River. And it is forecast to rise. Now, we'll tell you, the latest data has it actually falling off a little bit. I don't know if I trust that or not. Either way, the official forecast does call for it to make it up to moderate flood stage. Then you have the Guadalupe River, which is in a similar situation. At moderate flood stage, some of the stuff along the banks could see a little bit of water. Again, this is nowhere near July 4th, but it is a situation which we want to watch. I want to show you the futurecast here really quickly before we let you go. And we are expecting to see maybe a few showers and storms even here around San Antonio today, although our chances here are much lower than what they are in the Hill Country. We could continue to see some heavy rain even into the afternoon, and that's where you start to really get concerned if we get some training going on. But again, even here around San Antonio, there could be some rain today. We're going to call for a 30% chance of rain. Let me show you the 7-day forecast. 92 today, 94 tomorrow, 40% chance of rain, higher rain chances off to the west. We get a couple quiet days, and then there are some small chances Friday and Saturday. Reason being, let me show the tropics real quick. We are watching one little area out here in the Gulf. There is a 30% chance of development here. If that were to roll into Texas, which the odds of that are fairly low, that could bring some rain back into the forecast by next weekend. All right, that is all we have for weather. We're going to go to break. We'll be right back.
5:52. GMSA in your morning consumer headlines, some bread sold at Walmart is being recalled. According to the FDA, Hartford Bakery issued a recall for its Lewis Bake Shop artisan style half loaf on July 10th. The company says the bread could have serious health consequences for people with a nut allergy or severe sensitivity to hazelnuts. The FDA says that there have been no major incidents or reports linked to the recalled bread so far.
The federal government is raising the price of stamps. Senior U.S. Postal Service Representative Marty Johnson says that the price of the first class forever stamps increasing by 5 cents, rising from 73 cents to 78 cents. Johnson called the jump a, quote, rational and realistic approach.
All right, everyone, listen up because SA Picks is back and it is better than ever. Nominations for this year's SA Picks opening in just a few hours at 10 o'clock this morning.
So we are in search of San Antonio's top businesses, from restaurants to dog groomers, as well as plumbing and air conditioning services. Fans can nominate their favorite business during the nomination period, which runs August the 1st. Now, after the nominations close, we'll announce the finalists for each category on August 19th.
Finalist voting will then start on the 20th of August and wrap up on September 12th. You'll also be able to vote for each category once per day. Then we'll announce the winners in late September. Also, be on the lookout for more ways to support many of our local businesses. A special thanks to our SA Picks sponsor. That would be Gomez Law Firm. We have the full list of categories that you'll be able to vote on available right now on KSAT.com. All you got to do is search SA Picks. Okay, should be an interesting sort of competition voting there. We'll start there.
5:57 right now. We're looking at 78 degrees outside.
A late night meeting ending in tragedy. A man and a woman shot and killed outside of a local HEB. What police are saying this morning led up to this deadly encounter and the search for the suspect.
And search and recovery efforts in Kerr County are slowly resuming this morning, but how new rain today could slow down those efforts again.